podcast about equality in the gaming industry. I'm Naveen, and I am joined. What? What's the? I'm Naveen.
In the house. Go on, sorry.
And I'm joined here by Kaysee, the wonder from down under. What's up, Kaysee?
Yeah, this guy.
You're so funny.
But you're in Australia, so isn't that on the bottom? Because everything's reversed?
Yes.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah, totally.
And here, the man every woman would want to be straight. Diint.
This sounds like a boxing arena kind of introduction.
Yeah, I know, right? Are you ready to podcast?
Yeah! I will destroy you! That sort of thing.
Supposed to be promoting peace here.
Oh yeah, peace. Peace, love, and equality, but I would destroy you.
Tully is saying our audio is horrible.
Really? Is it? Is it? I think Priestly should put...
Priestly?
Is it Priestly? Wait. Is that any better? I hope it's better. That's what happens. You know, on the first every episode of every shows, you get a lot of technical difficulties. And before the podcast, we were talking about how my microphone was emitting this weird buzzing sound. So I was trying to fix that. Apparently, I just lowered my sound more than anything else. Sucks. Sorry. So, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. We, of course, you may know some of us or all of us. Naveen from Chronicles of Tyria, Kaysee and Diint also from Chronicles of Tyria. Diint used to be on the podcast. Now he's on the new podcast.
Hey.
On the better podcast.
Hey now. We're talking about equality here. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. We COT podcast is still going on. It's just the second podcast that we're adding in our beautiful community, which is Chronicles of Tyria. We wanted to expand our viewer base and keep the one that we have right now, of course. So we decided to make a show about the women and the gays and lesbians in the gaming industry, especially in Guild Wars 2, because that's the game that we are more focused on. We'll discuss many things. Do you like that? I like that.
I loved it.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Thank you.
It was gorgeous.
So that's what the show will be about. And so for the first time listeners, we'll explain a little bit who we are. But first, any shout-outs, projects that you would like to discuss before we start the actual show? Diint, is there anything that you wanted to say?
Shout out to Bomb Guild for being awesome with us yesterday during our Princess Raid on Lion's Arch.
The video is up on our YouTube channel too.
Yeah, that was the most fun I've had in a while in game. But when it comes to like projects and things like that, I have an RP event I'm working on. It should be ready within the next week, tops. And it's basically going to be sort of like a sellsword type idea, and it's basically going to be like RPing. It's going to have its own separate guild, so everyone can kind of. It's going to have like its own dedicated day that everyone kind of joins in if they want to. But similar to our warband event thing. But I'll send out like if whoever wants to RP, there'll be like certain missions and things like that mercenaries would do, like help escort these refugees to place, or go eliminate so and so, or I'm gonna even try to work in some of this RP into World versus World. So that's the goal. So, but yes, so look for that in the future.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Kaysee?
Other than that, I'm done.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't even ask. Kaysee, is there any shout-outs, any projects you're working on?
One shout out I have is, you guys probably heard this before, but Guild Mag, the new episode is finally up. I'll put it into Twitch TV chat, and for those who are not in Twitch TV or watching this somewhere else, the address is www.guildmag.com/episode-8. So, just definitely check out the podcast. They're quite short, they're little bites of fun. So, if you need some more listening material, definitely go and check out Guild Mag for me, please. Thank you. Love you. Bye.
That was short and sweet. Cool.
Yep.
That's awesome. I have, for myself, maybe, I don't have any shout-outs or anything, or projects I'm working on. Actually, I do have a lot of projects I'm working on, but there's too many at the moment. I do, however, we were talking about the princess video that we made during last night's guild meeting. For those who don't know yet, Chronicles of Tyria has a guild on Tarnished Coast. We're crazy. We like to be crazy, but crazy fun, not crazy you want to murder your kids crazy. Basically, if you go on YouTube/COT podcast, is it that it? I have so many links. Just look up
COT
Chronicles here. Yeah, COT podcast. Thanks.
Yeah.
YouTube.com/COT podcast. You will be able to find our video that we made. It turned out to be like an RP, but a really creepy RP using the princess potion that we're handing out during the Winter's Day events in Guild Wars 2. So just go check it out. It's creepy. It's either good or not good.
It's very creepy. I think my favorite bit at the end was your laugh. Your laugh is so freaking infectious. Like, Stefan was sitting next to me, not even watching the video, and he heard you laugh, and he started smiling.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's true though. Because I was watching it and I couldn't help smiling, but I don't know if it's the fact that it's in the guild and I know all these people, or just because it was really funny,
I was dying. I've watched the video probably about 5 times.
Yeah. My favorite bit at the end is when everyone just falls off and you just see you take off your UI hiding and it's just everyone just dead.
Everyone is dead. Let's see. All right, so let's talk about who we are, present ourselves, keep it short and sweet for those who don't know who we are. Let's start with Diint.
I have to go first.
Yeah. Unless you don't want to.
Well, I'm the half. Half is at the end.
But the half is the best part.
Aww. Save the best for last.
Exactly. Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Dang. Okay, let's go with Kaysee then. Kaysee, why don't you introduce yourself?
Alright, I'm Kaysee, and some people know me as Ali. Kaysee, Ali, I don't mind. I'm responding a lot more to Kaysee these days. I just came into... Okay, we're keeping it short, aren't we? So basically, I work on the Chronicles of Tyria website, I do the podcast, and also on the side, I do my own... not my own, it's not really a side. Anyway, I do Azalea stories.
Breathe, Kaysee.
Give me shot. I do the fan fiction of Azalea, and I also do Guild Mag podcast. So yeah, and you can send me a message in game if you like under Kaysee or at Kaysee@chroniclesoftyria.com.
Cool. All right, and I guess I'll go second since we'll keep Dint for last. I'm Naveen, founder of ChroniclesAteria.com. I am on the COT podcast, also with Kaysee and Lagwin. I am the guild leader of Chronicles of Tyria, so tag COT. I have diabetes blog because I'm type 1 diabetic. I'm laughing because Dint was like, but I'm no worship material. I'm not worshiping. I also have a personal gaming blog over at outrunacentaur.com. What else? I met my husband in Guild Wars 1. He's American and I'm French-Canadian. He came here to live with me. We now have a son. So let's just say that Guild Wars is a big part of my life because if Guild Wars wouldn't exist, my son wouldn't be here.
Calm down.
And that's it. That's me. That's crazy. Crazy Naveen. Or, as I've been called before, mentally unstable.
But we love you anyway, Naveen.
Straight you do.
Alright, so it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm Dint from Kentucky, and I play Guild Wars 2, and I like it a lot. And I used to be the host for COT podcast, but I'm not anymore. But now I'm a host of this one. Okay, I'm done.
Wow. Okay. That's awesome. That's it? Seriously?
And I'm 22. I'm about to turn 23. My birthday is April 16th, 1990. I have 2 cats and a dog, and I have a boyfriend of whom I love very much, and we've been together for a long time. Okay, is that it?
Social security number now.
Credit card number.
Don't forget the 3-digit security code behind the credit card.
CVV or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so basically that's us in a nutshell. Short and sweet, of course. Soon we'll have a webpage on chroniclesateria.com/2.5 Tyrian Girls podcast. It's non-existent right now, so don't try to look for it. I'm going to work on it as soon as I can tomorrow. So let's start the actual show, what we wanted to talk about today. If I take a look at the show notes, let's start short skirts, or who likes short shorts?
Want to try that again? Or
No.
we'll give you an opportunity. Give you a chance to try that one more time.
No, I'm really good with, I'm really bad with tongue twisters.
Or just talking in general.
Or just talking in general. Thank you.
French is perfect, aren't you, Naveen? French is perfectly fine.
Yeah, okay. Donc aujourd'hui, avec Tyrian Girls, how do you say that in French? I don't know.
Never mind, Kate.
Never mind. So for those who are in the chat room, because we are using Twitch TV for those listening to us on iTunes right now, if you go to twitch.tv/chroniclesateria, you can have access to COT podcast and 2.5 Tyrian Girls podcast. So what I'm going to do is just link a link in the chat room, and it's basically by Gamebreaker TV. There was an article written by Tori McGrath who that was about Lollipop Chainsaw. You know, if those who don't know what that game is, it's basically a teenage girl in a very skimpy cheerleading outfit that's going around killing people or zombies with her chainsaw, the pink chainsaw. And the first thing that really caught my eye, of course, is the girl's outfit and how much controversy it has made. But just to take a look about, at the article itself, let me read you a little part here. Tori McGrath, she writes, Lollipop Chainsaw is part silly, part sexy, and part badass. If there's something it isn't, it's serious. And that's how, most games are now, especially like console games. When they come, I'm not talking about like big titles, but more like down a step titles, I guess. They're not really serious. They don't have much of a story. It's just, go around and then kill stuff and earn achievements, and that's basically it. In short, players run around as a perky-breasted, pigtail-clad, bubbly blonde teenager with a big pink chainsaw. Apparently, her high school got infested with zombies, and head cheerleader Juliet, the only one that can stop them, with some help from her classmates, teachers, and disembodied boyfriend Nick's head. So where are you going to see that in real life? I'm not sure. But sure is fantasy. The big controversy about that article is that Warren Spector, who's the developer of games such as System Shock and Deus Ex, said it shouldn't have even been made. To quote him, he says, "My interests in content have changed dramatically, and I suspect this is true for many of you. There are some games that should not be made. By the way, I'll try not to be too obnoxious. When I was younger, that's all I needed. All I needed was to differentiate myself from other people. If it was going to convince my mother that I was a juvenile delinquent, I was there. I needed to be transgressive. Adrenaline rush and spectacle were all I needed. I don't think I was alone in that. Maybe I'm just shallow. When you're this age, spectacle is plenty. And blood sprays and all that stuff is really kind of what you're looking for, because you really want to alienate people in a strange sort of way. You want to shock people and you want to be different, not so much anymore." The second part is where it gets icky, and that's where it caused a lot of controversy. "I have no interest in guys who wear armor and swing big swords." Okay, that sentence, ugh, I hate it. To continue, "I've been the last space marine between Earth and an alien invasion. I really just don't need to go there anymore. I want content that is relevant to my life, that is relevant to me, that is set in the real world. If we're going to reach a broader audience, we have to stop thinking about that audience strictly in terms of teenage boys or even teenage girls. We need to think about things that are relevant to normal humans and not just the geeks we used to be." So, on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/chroniclesateria, I asked a question today. I said, what do you guys think about... Well, first, I said, what do you guys think about those short shorts? Or short skirts, because the image is quite provocative. Find some armors in Guild Wars 2 too revealing? Because that's going to be the second question. Leave your comment here so we can talk about it tonight. Ted, which is actually Lag from COT Podcast, said, "Grr, I hate Warren Spector. I have no interest in guys who wear armor and swing big swords." Yeah, me too. I didn't really like that sentence. He said, "Maybe it's just me, but when I play games, I'd like to escape and play in a world setting that I can enjoy. One that's different from my life. Why would I want to play a game that takes place in a real world where's the fun in that? Sorry, Warren Spector just gets on my nerves." What do you think about that article, Kaysee?
I feel like he is actually elucidating some very valid points, but he kind of has this mentality that just because something applies to a certain amount of people, it should apply to everyone. I do believe that video games very much do have the capacity to have a real world advantage and become a much bigger stream that can influence people, not just kids or teenagers, but can influence the way we think for everyone and can challenge belief values. But then again, it is also, the way he's saying it is, I don't think he's really elucidating that fun is important, where Guild Wars is purely a fun game. It's not challenging any of our values or making us reevaluate things or giving us morals apart from kill evil, but it is very much fun, and video games are designed to be fun, but also it stimulates our imagination, where real life games don't. They stimulate our morals and our sense of right and wrong, but they don't stimulate imagination. I think it's a very big question. What do you think of this article? I think him saying it shouldn't have been made is a very difficult question, because when you're a young boy, that is all you're interested in. Not actually, that's a very big thing, but when you're a young boy of that certain genre, yes, sorry, when you're a young boy of that sort of persuasion is very much interested in those things, like he said he was interested in, but putting them out there into mainstream media is a very iffy question, whether that it should be acceptable, whether women should have to. When I had the same reaction as you, Naveen. When I saw her in that outfit, I went, oh my god, another one? Do we have to really? But the thing is that when you play the game, she actually has a strong personality. She is not rescued by men or anything like that. It's a decent game. The mechanics are quite fun. The game itself is quite fun. But when you see her outfit, that is such a cheap attention grab, so freaking tacky. Unfortunately, the truth is, if she wasn't like that, a lot of people wouldn't have been pulled in. So,
so
I was going to say boys wouldn't be pulled in, but then it's also it's very naive thinking, because I know a lot of girls would be pulled in because it's pretty. She's pretty, and that's what girls want to look like. So it is actually everyone being pulled in.
Yeah. Would that be a kind of game that would interest you, Diint?
You know, I played it for a little bit, but it wasn't. The reason why I started playing it was not for the fan service that was plastered all over it. I started playing it because I like zombie games. And I like bloody games sometimes. Really just anything, because, you know, a lot of us tend to play certain genres of games depending on what it is that we're in the mood for. At some point in time, if I'm having like an icky day, I will get on GTA and I will just wreak havoc until I feel better. You know, but it's also just kind of like an escape, if you will, for a kind of persona that you're wanting to portray. If you're wanting to portray a very badass type person, I would like to go to a game where you're just slaying hundreds of zombies and things like that. But the fan service is really what kind of ticked me off about it. And I'm not necessarily dogging it. I just wish that it wasn't so common. I think when it comes to the comments about wanting to play a game that is relevant to you and is relevant to your real life or something to that regard, I agree with Kaysee that is a very specific type of mindset, and that only applies to very specific sort of people that play video games. I mean, look at us in Guild Wars 2. I mean, we are on an RP server. We're an RP guild for the most part, and you know, we're all writing fan fiction and things like that. It's because we view Guild Wars, or I can only speak for myself, but you know, I play Guild Wars for the escape factor of it. I get to, I guess, kind of put on the persona and put on the mindset of this epic character that is, you know, saving the world and all of these other things. And it also applies to the storytelling factor of it. There are certain games that do not have much of a story. Lollipop Chainsaw, it had a pinch of one, but I wasn't really all that enthralled with it. Sims is a good example. That doesn't have a story, but some people like to. If you want to play a game that's based off of real life, play The Sims, because you could just replicate your life there. I mean, I only play it to take away all of the doors and put people in closets to watch them starve, but that's only me. Some people just like to, like my friend Shonda. She plays The Sims because she feels like she is wasting away as a server from day to day, and so she likes to create herself in The Sims and like, look, I can actually go somewhere in life. But it's just, you can't. It's very hard to not think that your taste in a game is the most popular one. I'm sure that's what this guy is a victim of doing. He thinks that since I know what I like and I know that it's enjoyable because I enjoy it, everyone else must enjoy it. When that's not really the case. I'm not really a big fan of games that replicate the real life. I like to have the whole storytelling aspect of it. I like fantasy settings. I hate sci-fi games. I don't touch them.
Right.
So it was just, there are genres of video games for a reason, and I mean, and when it comes to certain games, there's going to be fan service because that is going to be your target audience. I just think that you need to kind of, I guess, speculate and kind of mesh it well with how you're going to visually design the game with its sort of play style. Honestly, I think that because of the type of play style that Lollipop Chainsaw is, it was designed perfectly because the type of people who tend to play, and this is just by demographic standards, I'm not trying to stereotype or objectify anything or anything like that. This is just by demographics. The type of people that tend to play hack and slash type games, or even zombie games for that matter, tend to be young adult males. And young adult males, for the most part, tend to like big tittied women and short skirts and things like that. So they were just, I mean, if you want to play an awesome zombie game that has a realistic factor, that is still a very good zombie game, go to Resident Evil. There's not that much fan service in there. And that can be said for MMOs. Guild Wars 2 does have a lot of fan service. I personally would not mind a little bit of male armor that showed off a little bit more skin, because I'm tired of, no offense to Naveen, I mean, your outfit's pretty, but you got... You have cleavage for days. For days. For days.
Well, thank you.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily mind male armor that showed off a little bit more, just because, I mean, I don't like to gender bend in the games that I play. I like to play my gender, and I'm not dogging anyone who likes to gender bend.
Right.
But I think... I honestly think Terra, the MMO Terra Online, it kind of bombed, but I think they did a great job with their armor. They have both armor that covers up, no matter what race or gender that you are, but they also have armor that shows off a lot of damn skin for females and for males. So...
I think in the Korean audience there's a lot more fan service for men, pretty men in beautiful armors and stuff like that, whereas the Western stereotype is a man must be tough, a man must wear lots of armor, a man must be bulky and big and stuff like that, and so they're still catering to that stereotypes of Koreans, like, more slender, more visually beautiful clothes on men, where I think Western style is more...
Covered.
Brutish still. Yeah.
I just need to move to Korea, apparently.
Yeah, you need to go into that K-pop thing and...
Oh, honey, I'm already there.
But I agree with the both of you. Oh, were you done then? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was really just going to say, I just want to objectify men. Why can't men be objectified? That's all I want.
But you wouldn't want to see Logan Thackeray shirtless.
We would all have to make sacrifices. That's what it takes. So.
Right. I do agree with both of you. actually. And it's I like I was gonna say Naveen, Kaysee, that you brought up what the character was like in Lollipop Chainsaw. She was really like she didn't need no man. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, exactly. Do the Z thing. But she, she's got a great attitude to go to fighting and stuff like that. So she's not I don't think women would see her. I think you'd have to play the game to actually understand. Because at first, when you do see the banner or the game cover for that game, it's crazy. There's this chick in tight cheerleading outfit, and her breasts are coming out, and you can see basically her butt, and like she's very provocative with like her lollipop in her mouth and stuff. And but when you get to play the game, you get to meet the character. And no, it's not the type of game that will have a huge backstory on that character, but you can actually, meet her personality and know that she's a tough cookie. And yeah, I was, when I asked the question on Facebook, we have Alacardalina that replied. And she said, I have to agree with some of the comments on the page. Saying that a game shouldn't have been made is like the worst of the worst insults. Just because he isn't interested in it, and she said, I'm not really, doesn't mean that no one should play or get to play the game. A lot of people really like these types of games. Of course, everyone isn't a fan, but there seems to be a lot of Lollipop Chainsaw fans, speaking from a convention goer and someone who keeps up with what's popular, at least in the cosplay world. As for short skirts, because she really has a short skirt.
Oh my, yes.
Denying this to characters feels like denying that there are girls like this that actually exists. Whereas one person might see it as over-sexualizing the female population, I see it as a different type of girl, maybe someone confident in their body. And I do have to agree with Ada Cardellina on that. She said, look, if we all wore pants and long skirts in games, we'd be complaining about female repression and how we aren't allowed to show off our bodies. You can go to a packed grocery store and see that women wear pretty much what they want. Pants, long skirts, short skirts, shirts that show cleavage, turtlenecks, get-up tees, and so on. You can go to a clothing store and see that there are even more revealing outfits on the streets than in games, which is very true. I could preach on this all day, but what gamers and people giving their opinion from outside these games fail to realize is that girls with short skirts, hefty cleavage, and a pretty face do exist. Also, I, for one, would be sad if a game didn't have any revealing armors, because Guild Wars 2 has even less than most games, and I have, most games I have played. If you're wearing a short skirt, chances are that your crotch and buttocks are covered by some sort of pant, legging, bloomers, or stocking. Compared to Guild Wars, the sequel lacks in the revealing department, and when I actually first laid my eyes on the few that were there, I was elated, but then a little let down because the designers aren't as elaborate as they used to be. Overall, Guild Wars 2 ends up having a nice variety of all types of clothing, revealing, conservative, and somewhere in between. Very well said, Alucardo. Yeah, I do have to agree. Like, if I had that kind of body, maybe at Halloween I would dress like that. You know?
On Halloween, though.
Yeah, but that's because I'm
yes, I completely agree with Ala Cardellina. People like that do exist. There are pretty girls. There are people who are in shape. I understand that. Mm-hmm. However, in the video gaming community, it seems to me that that's all that exists.
Yeah. I have to say that while Ala Catalina is right about, with women like that do exist, there's also an issue of translating this to boys when the major audience is actually just boys. That gives them unrealistic expectations. But also on that, it's to say that, I'm trying to say this very delicately. If it there is women go, oh, it's perfectly okay to wear short skirts, it's liberation and stuff like that. It is very selfish in a way, I feel, because this is where it kind of goes iffy, because it is not considerate to men. Because yes, some men like that, but it also makes some men feel very uncomfortable. And I haven't seen it, but a lot of guys will be like, oh, I like girls' hits, don't take that away from me. But it's very awkward if a girl's like, oh, beautifully, I'm a boy, I'm a girl, but, I've heard this from boys, if girls are decked out and stuff like that, and then you look at their boobs, it's very uncomfortable, and people kind of go, oh, well, they shouldn't look at it. Well, yes, they shouldn't, but you got to understand that you're making it very uncomfortable for them as well. And then people immediately backfire this with, oh, you're one of those people that say if a girl gets raped, it's her fault for wearing slutty clothes. No, I'm not one of those people, and I think any people that say that should be shot. Yeah. But in all life, there is what's it called? A balance, and this balance must be maintained. And we can never, I don't think we can ever possibly get perfect, but close to perfect is good enough. But from both sides. It's not a man's fault, it's not a woman's fault, it needs to be from both sides. And going back to Lollipop Chainsaw, giving men this expectation that women wear those sort of things is one, unfair, and for women giving expectation that that's what men expect them to wear is also unfair. And when you put it into mass media and it's the only thing women see and the only thing men see, it's not healthy.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with that.
I just don't understand why there isn't voting there. I mean, we could go on for days about how...
I'm sorry, Dint, you cut out. You're very laggy.
I think you said body hair.
Body hair?
There's enough body hair.
Oh, I don't know. I think we lost Dint. Yeah, we did. While we wait for him to come back, let's see. Is he there? Dint? No, he's not back. Okay. So while we wait for him to come back, Ala Cardinalina says, she's in the chat room right now, and she says, chances are we'll see more people outside the game than inside. And now all the Twitch stuff is messed up. So sorry, guys. That's because Dint
my chin.
Dun dun dun.
Don't look at my chin.
There you go. Don't look at my chin. But yeah, La Cardinalina says chances are we'll see more people outside of games than inside, and we shouldn't assume that men can or cannot contain themselves. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I said back to her, I'm saying it's considerate. From my own personal opinion, the reason I say this is because I've had male friends, I've, watched a show and they're like, it's just overly sexualized. Like, it makes me feel uncomfortable. Girls' titties hanging out and all they talk about is sexual innuendo and that sort of thing. And I find it uncomfortable, and why shouldn't guys find it uncomfortable? And when you put so much in the media, it makes it seem like, you should be okay with this. You, as a man, you should be overly sexualized and used to seeing big titties and appreciate big titties and short skirts and things like that. But it goes back to all preferences. You've got to remember that there are different preferences and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is it difficult for straight
Is it difficult for Goodbye, Dint. We're losing you again.
Bye.
Entire quest and storyline because they would have to like take a break every now and then.
Can you start over because you cut out for about 5-6 seconds?
Of course I did.
He's gonna flip a table.
I'm just curious. Is it difficult for straight men to play?
Ah, there he goes again. I swear, Dint has to get his Wi-Fi thing worked out.
Difficult for men to play. We're gonna get one word each time.
Yeah. Dint, are you back?
Am I back?
You are.
Yep.
Okay.
Back? Okay. Okay. Let me try this.
Difficult for men to play.
Alright. Is it for straight men to play again?
When we get connection, try not to move again.
Yeah.
Dint.
Okay.
Okay. Stop moving. Ask your question.
Okay. Is it difficult for straight men to play video games where fan service is being constantly thrown at them because they're getting boners all the time and they can't finish the story?
We got it.
All right. That was my question.
Well, I don't know. I can only speak from that TV shows where they said, nah, stop watching it because it's just too awkward. But I can imagine, I imagine these days a lot of men are overly desensitized to sex. And, you know, just that it's thrown in their faces so much that maybe they become used to it. In my opinion, I think sex should be a very personal thing, and while it shouldn't be shunned and gone, oh, it's evil, if you have sex, you're going to hell, I think it's also something that should be, it depends on person to person, and making a stereotyped sex, this is what sex is, big titties and short skirts, and guys with big muscles, and this is what, you know, what you're meant to find attractive, is very, to my mind, odd and shouldn't really be done, but if it sells, I guess people are going to do it.
I know that when we play Guild Wars 2, every time we go, because we're all part of the same guild, every time we kind of run around and there's like someone, or just me, because my tier 3 human cultural armor is very, very revealing, I know that Dint goes like, ugh, Naveen, get out of my face. How do you feel playing Guild Wars with all these female characters running around half naked?
I had to get used to it. Like, and it's still like, it still kind of bugs me every now and then because I don't want to look at tits. But if that's hi cat, if that's like the main focal point of your character, I mean, my eyes are just going to go straight to your tits. I'm like, I'm staring at her tits. I'm now disgusted. And it's just, it kind of gets annoying. I wish everyone would just wear a pea coat and run around just for like a day so I could see, so I can go like a day without seeing cleavage.
I'll wear a more decent armor next time we do a dungeon together. How about that?
All right. No. I mean, it's fine. No, I mean, like, if that's what you want to wear, then wear it. But it's just like, I want the variety there. There's no variety for men. Everything is concealing. There's no variety for women. Almost everything is revealing. Now, it's just, yes, the argument is there that revealing too much all the time is objectifying, and there's also the argument that concealing too much all the time is shunning, sheltering, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But I want there to be variety. If you want to look like a skank, then look like a skank. If you want to look like a prude, then look like a prude. I mean, you're a freaking warrior. If you want to protect your whole freaking body, then protect your whole body and cover up. But it's just, I don't know.
You're getting used to it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned to accept it. It's just, I always, when I see it, I always just make a mental note of, and those are titties. I'm surprised there's not a nipple, and then I just move on with what I'm doing.
Some of the pants, it goes so low. It's like, do
Yeah.
none of these like Tyrian women have hair anywhere? Like, it's just so low. I should be able to see something. Like
Yeah.
it just, and every time I see it, as a woman, you know, I find both genders attractive.
Mhm.
But as a woman, when I look at that, I'm like, whoa. You know, like, that is something very personal to me. It's something very personal that you should not be showing out there. And even though it's a character in a game, it makes it more acceptable. You know, it's not a real person. If it was a real person, I'd be like, okay, all right, well, good to see
Make
you.
eye
Bye-bye
contact,
now.
make eye contact.
Like, I don't want to see that part of you. I only want to see my husband. Anyway, not going there. But, you know, I only want to see my partner in that way. I don't want to see anyone else in that sort of way. But I agree. It's very, like, every time you see it, it's like, bam, in your face. And I don't know, honestly, I don't think I could ever be like a guy and say what a guy would feel. Like, I wonder, do guys see that boob or see that and go,
That boob,
yeah.
that one boob.
They see that? Do they see it and go like, yeah, I love that, or do they just go, or is it something else? Like, it's not something I would be able to comment on, but from a woman's perspective, it's like, even if I saw it on a guy, I would be very sandbackish and, you know, I gotta go now, bye.
Speaking of very skimpy outfit and shocking stuff that we find in gaming, Kaysee, you sent me a link to venturebeat.com. They talk about the Dead Island Riptide reaction was an equality fail. Basically what happens, and I'll post the link in the chat room and on the show notes so that those watching on iTunes can go later see what we're talking about. Basically, there's an image there of a severed body, a woman's body, and it's just very gory. It's just a torso, super tiny bikini, huge breasts and everything. And whoops, I clicked the wrong thing there. There we go. Let's see. Where is it? There we go. To give this ongoing lament some context, Deep Silver announced on Tuesday a risque collector's edition for Dead Island Riptide called the Zombie Bait Edition, which prominently displayed a severed and dismembered torso with big breasts and small clothing. Is it tacky? Yes, probably. Is it reason for a mass outcry? Hardly. That's what was contained in the box, in the collector's edition. So basically, you could display that somewhere in your house. If you like gore, if you like zombie games, that's all right. Right, I don't have a problem with that. I think what I do have the problem, it's like it's very gory and it's just super, super, super revealing. Couldn't they just have made like a zombie or something, like show a face and or you know, more clothing? I don't know.
Some
Can we
people
just-
like
I'm sorry?
Oh no, I was just saying, can we just talk about her spray tan for a second? Because that's clearly
I
a
was
spray
expecting
tan.
that.
Someone in the guild chat said that ain't huge-breasted. Sable said that.
That kind of irritates me because sorry, Naveen.
No, it's
That's media telling you that ain't huge-breasted. I know quite a few women, and that is quite big in my opinion, and I feel, and I know quite a few women who have considerably smaller than that,
Mhm.
and they feel inadequate because of these things.
Right. I know what you mean.
And it is really it. I guess with pop-up and stuff like that, but that woman ain't wearing pop-up, you know.
Yeah. And I
Fucking
mean,
pop up.
what?
I don't understand boot talk. I'm sorry.
But here's a question, Dint. Let's say you like buying collector's edition because there's always something more in the box for you to be able to enjoy the game at, the fullest. Like Guild Wars 2 collector's edition has, CDs, it has posters and everything. There's probably something else than just a severed body in that box for Dead Island.
Mm-hmm.
Would you buy that collectible, like that collector's edition, if there was that one thing that would actually want you to play the game? Like, let's say there was a code for, I don't know, unlimited whatever in the game.
Yeah.
And you really wanted that.
I'd buy it. I'd throw the thing away or give it to someone who wants it.
See?
See, like for example, like the game Catherine.
Mm.
There's that collector's edition that had like that weird full-length body pillow thing.
Mm-hmm.
And my boyfriend's brother bought that. See, if I had bought that, I don't need a creepy full-length body pillow of some girl because that's disturbing. But I do like the t-shirt. So I would buy that, and I would just give the full body pillow to some weird nerd virgin who lives in his basement who really wants it.
I get what you mean.
It's
but it's
that
more,
game really.
It's.
I mean, it's not going to offend me. If you want it, then get it. If you, I mean, if you're offended by it, don't get it. That's. I don't know. I get so touchy about this. It's like if you are so offended about something that's really not that big of a deal, because it's not like the box was see-through or anything. I mean, I will admit, you can see on the side of the box, it's just a picture of no. Never mind. No, take it back.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's pretty revealing. I mean, you can't say.
Don't buy it.
Don't buy it. But see, wouldn't you feel like you're kind of wasting your money if you don't want that item in the box? And it's a pretty huge item, and it's probably why it costs more than it actually does. It's not because of what's, the rest of what's inside the box. I do agree with Bulleye in the chat room. He says, if you play the game, it's located in a tourist resort. You start off at the beach. All the women and men zombies are running around in bikinis and swim trunks. He has a point. It's true. It's called Dead Island after all. But I feel that they used that icon to get more people to buy it because most of the players there's a male-based players for that type of game. I'm a woman, but I do play these games because I enjoy it a lot, and it doesn't bother me as much when, I see bikinis and stuff because I kind of ignore it. There's so much gore, there's so many things going around it that I kind of ignore the bikini, I kind of ignore the sex innuendos and, all these things. I'm more busy going around and killing zombie and getting my achievements done. I would buy that, but would I display it? I don't think I would, especially not with a 2-year-old.
Not with your kid.
Exactly. But I think they could have used something else. I don't know. Maybe, a Jeep that you go around in the island, like a Jeep with an action figure going like, rah, ta, 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 ta. I don't know.
I mean, could they have used something else that was a little more tasteful? Yes, but keep in mind it is, like, what, an M-rated game?
Probably,
yes.
Yeah, I mean, well, so, I mean, it's to be expected that there's going to be something in there that's not for youth.
Mm-hmm.
I think what irritates me the most is that when you look at it, would they use a male body? Probably not. Why not? Because it would sell a lot better as a woman. Yeah. So they're profiting off the woman form, but people profit off stuff.
I see what you're doing.
But it's more that they so sickly mutilated it, and that it wasn't not respectful to, that sounds so pretentious, but it's not celebrating the human woman's form. It's really quite grotesque, and the fact that they...
Zombie game.
What was that?
It's a zombie game.
Yeah, that's...
People. They're not going to be respectful about it. They're not going to say grace before they take a bite out of your head.
That's true. But the only reason that they made it was because it's a woman's body, and because it appeals to this kind of very sick, twisted, kind of thing that about women's body. And I always look at things, I don't get offended if they would have done a male version of it. If a male version would have been completely accepted and everything like that. But they wouldn't have done. The only reason that it's a female is because of those bazongas staring at you. So that irks me. I'm not offended. Like, I'm not going to go like, yeah, pick it, Dead Island, and yeah. But it is an issue that I think should be at least conversed about, not just gone. You know, a lot of male writers, and also females, actually, I should say that, a lot of writers are going, oh, get off your high horse, it's not about feminism and stuff like that. Well, I personally think that if they don't treat men the same way as they treat women in any situation, it is a feminist issue, because feminism is all about equality. So, in my mind, you should evaluate. It's not something you should get all uppity about, but it is something that should at least be addressed and discussed and identified as probably a problem in society or something like that.
Right. And there's Lovegood in the chat room that's basically saying what you're saying right now. He said, the thing that bothers me is it's just a mutilated torso. I question the sickness of the artist. But the artist was actually working for a zombie game. The only way you know it's actually to do with zombies is because it comes with a zombie game. Otherwise, it's just pretty gross. But I think most people that are going to buy that game know that it's a zombie game. If they would have made it like a statue of a zombie, not just the mutilated torso, I think it would have made more sense.
But here's the thing, though, is that the whole point of a zombie game is for the horror aspect of it. You know, it being a zombie game, that it's going to be gory. It's going to have that horror. It's going to have that horror, not horror. Horror.
Oh, see what you did there.
Just so you know that it's going to be, you know that you're going.
Oh, you're cutting up real bad.
Of course I am.
Of course I am. This table. Flip.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's a zombie game. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be grotesque. It's going to be gory. So if your complaint about the statue that comes with it is that it's all mutilated and gross, well, don't play a zombie game, because that's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
It's a zombie movie. That happens. So
there's an extreme to that argument, which is, which should I go with? There's I'm trying to figure out which was the rest offensive. There's a game all about rape, and it's all about no, but this is an example. There's a game all about rape.
Game is all about rape.
And it's available for anyone to get, and it kind of glorifies rape. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. Is that okay? No, because what happens is, for example, Grand Theft Auto, it's a game that's clearly for adults who can separate reality and video games, yet parents buy it for the kids because it's popular.
Yeah.
You know, there's that. So I used to work at, I think it was your GameStop, my EA Games, and which, you know, kids would come in and buy really games that are inappropriate for their kids as presents, and you know there has to be some sort of limitation on that. In my sense, you know, just because it's a gory game doesn't mean we can have this displayed on our shelves and, you know, and celebrated as a good thing, as a mutilated female body, which has that sex appeal of big titties as well as that gore of thing, and you're combining gore and sex in one thing. I don't really think that's great.
Yeah. I do agree with you. I do understand what you're saying, and I mean, seeing it as from a parent's perspective,
Mm.
I would display a zombie statue in front of my 2-year-old boy because he knows what monsters are like. He knows, yeah, monsters, or he would just maybe even play with it. I wouldn't play the game because the game is too much violent in front of him. But he knows what a zombie is, I'm pretty sure. He has action figures that look really disgusting, not all gory, but not, humanly type, I guess.
Mm.
Would I display a mutilated body of a torso that could be your mom? I mean, his mom? Not so much.
No, that's true.
I'm saying that from a parent's perspective, and yes, it might seem extreme, but I don't want him to see that. Maybe. Anyways, it's touchy.
I get where you're coming from. Like from a kid's perspective, I know this sounds kind of weird, but kids who are breastfed would identify their mums in that sort of way.
That's true.
Especially young kids, and not in a perverse way, but to see what he recognizes boobs as his mum, and then to see it in that sort of way. I don't know what effect that would have.
Yeah, me neither.
Probably not a good one.
No.
Better not to take a chance.
Maybe they'll become surgeons. I don't know.
But you see, I know someone who, they have a kid. He's like 18 now, and they've had like posters up in their house forever because they're big horror flick fans and things like that. They have posters for like Sleepaway Camp and Friday the 13th and all of these other classic horror films. Sleepaway Camp has this big busty cheerleader who's cheering, and it has very little to do with the movie, but it is slightly revealing it. But it still kind of conveys that horror aspect of the film as well. But he turned out fine. I mean, he has seen those practically all his life.
Yeah,
and I know you can't just be like, well, here's the one exception to the rule to disprove your point. But I'm just saying, like, I don't really see that affecting him that much. And also, you have to realize that when it comes to a parent, you do have to pick and choose of what it is that your child is going to be exposed to.
Yeah.
So if you have a child, don't buy the collector's edition.
Yeah. Or if you buy it, just store it so that they don't see it.
Don't buy this. Exactly. Put it in your weird sex room or something that he's not allowed to go in.
Whoa, I'm not sure if this would be considered a sex type totem or whatever. I mean, you can be into anything you want. I'm
not. Don't say I am. I said your room, not mine.
Well, don't say I am. But aside from the people that are in the chat room, those listening to us on iTunes or downloading the show, you can send us mail regarding that topic or even questions, anything you'd like, to THTG. Is that it? THTG at chroniclesatyria.com. So, 2 half Tyrian Girls. So THTG at chroniclesatyria.com. You'll be able to send us mail over there. Tell us what you think about these subjects, and we'll be able to give you a shout out on the next episode right before we discuss the main subjects. This could go on forever. I mean, all night. We could discuss about that, so I won't let it drag because we've passed an hour point into the podcast. If you do have any comments, you can send us a mail, I just said, or comment on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/chroniclesatyria. You can also like our Twitter page, which is at chroniclesatyria, or Facebook, to go facebook.com/chroniclesatyria. You can send us mail, comments, questions, and we'll happily reply to those. So, I think this is enough for tonight. I would like to thank everyone that's been in the chat room right now chatting with us. Thanks for supporting the show. We'll have a blast on the next show as well. Diint, would you like to say something before we log off? Oh, Diint is frozen. Surprise, surprise.
Oh boy.
I can't hear you. You'll cut out.
I was just kidding.
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay. I said, would you like to say something before we log out?
And then I said no, and then you said something else.
Oh, I said, oh, you froze. We didn't hear the no part. Kaysee?
No, I'm cool.
All right. So, thanks again, everyone. So, for 2.5 Tyrian Girls, first episodes of the many, many episodes to come, I am Naveen.
I'm Kaysee.
And he's a frozen Diint.
And, okay, bye.
See you later, guys. I got better things to do.
Damn technical difficulties.
I think that went well. I really enjoyed it.
It did. Really well.
You chose the topics I seem to be very passionate about, Naveen. I get a little too aggressive. Just type to me in chat like, something, because to me, I've been told that I get really aggressive, but to me, I'm quite happy for other people to say things and for me to get really into it. But just let me know, okay?